please welcome First Minister Alex Salmond.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Rich, for that kind introduction. It is a pleasure to open your conference today and to welcome, of course, the 2009 Forbes Chief Executive Officers Forum to Scotland.
How do you plan to use those new taxing powers to encourage what you talked about, innovation, creating an atmosphere where these things can move forward?
Well, I welcome more discretion and more powers for Scotland. I think there's a difference between transferring variability in taxation powers and actually controlling areas of taxation.
Not only to find out, but also to make it public, like you did in the United States. I think that was a model for how to do it.
Our core raison d'etre is showcasing Scotland on the international stage, and through that bringing sporting and cultural events. And we've actually monitored a very robust response in the last 6 months, despite the economic pressures in the world.
I'm counting my blessings that we are together. We are with 27 member states. And 27 member states are just one single market. And the single market, in a way, is not only for economic activities, it is also for financial services. Having said that, and just trying to give you a bit of a push to be positive yourself.
Something needs to change. We need some kind of innovative, disruptive, radical shift in how we make energy.
Do we have enough energy for growing our economy? And you've mentioned that. Energy independence, where does it come from?
And reduction in carbon emissions. I think there is cause for optimism in what we call conventional renewables now.
Our First Minister made the day he was appointed to office by Parliament was to visit the Long Island Power Station to discuss these very issues.
Kyoto is clever. What they'll do is they'll have a graduated cap and trade system that supports pricing.
Please welcome to the stage Sir Jackie Stewart.
My dad used to say, and it was Robert Burns who said it 250 years ago almost, see yourself as others see you. A lot of winners in this room. Success is considerably more difficult. To finish first you've got to finish.
We're going to talk about innovation, we're going to talk about the obstacles to that, we're going to talk about the link between technology and energy.
Over the last several years, semiconductors have been getting smaller and smaller.
From the biotech sector, trends I would argue is that the initial trend was very much pharma-driven.
And one of the big trends I would currently see is what we would call consumerization.
I think the one thing I would want to emphasize is the importance of investing now for the future. You're going to go around a bend, what do? You break into the bend and you accelerate out. What Intel did was trim their sail going into the downturn, but then invested out of it, invested in technology, invested in capacity, invested in advertising.
Heritage versus innovation struck me as being a particularly intriguing one, because in fact I think you don't get the best of each without them being connected.
What I talk about is we discover the past, which is the heritage, where's the oil and gas come from, but more importantly we're creating the future. Its remit is to try and create a positive winning attitude in Scotland.
I think when you look at the heritage and innovation we have in depth in Scotland, it is a fantastic asset, and I think we can use it going forward. They're challenging lifestyles, they're looking at quality of life, they're saying life is perhaps not about accumulating material assets. Perhaps there's something else to life.
But this is a special year for this special conference to be coming for Scotland, because this year, of course, is the year of homecoming. This is the 250th anniversary of the birth of our national bard, Robert Burns, something which by definition happens once every 250 years and therefore is very, very special. And the year-long celebration which we have in Scotland is testimony to that. And the homecoming year is one in which we celebrate some of the very best of Scotland. We celebrate the game of golf, which of course you can enjoy here at Gleneagles. We celebrate whisky, which I am reliably informed you can also enjoy here at Gleneagles. We celebrate the legacy of Robert Burns as a poet and a cultural icon. We celebrate Scottish culture in its widest form this year. But crucially, importantly, and this conference is very much part of that, we celebrate the contribution of Scotland to scientific advance, to innovation, to economic progress. And therefore it's highly appropriate that this conference should come to Scotland for the first time.